Hello, Comanche29 here, and I've been wanting to talk about Game Builder Garage since it was first announced recently. But I wanted to wait a couple of days before I did anything on it because I wanted to see if there was any more information we got, and I kind of wanted to think about it before I talked about it, instead of just like putting up a video immediately after I watched the trailer, which got me pretty hyped. And I have to say, I'm super hyped for this game. Like, I played some Mario Maker, and while I had fun with that, like, I kind of wanted to do a little bit more than just make Mario courses. Because I've always, like, a lot of kids growing up, I've always had a lot of video game ideas. And a lot of them, of course, kind of fell into the category of, well, I'll never actually be able to make this. A lot of them would be extraordinarily elaborate, but they're cool to think about. But with this, there's actually a chance to actually make some stuff. It wouldn't obviously be full-on games. For the most part, it would probably be mostly like proof of concept and sort of like, say, alpha level, of development of like, okay, so these are like the ideas and can you really make this? It really does depend on how deep a lot of this goes, because we still don't know the full extent of just how deep it goes with its programming, and if you can do any kind of, 3D modeling or custom, character creations, or, music, or animations. There's a lot of little stuff that we don't know about. We know some of the basic stuff, and from what we've seen from the trailer, it's a very versatile game in what you can create. You can do all sorts of different genres of games. But we're still pretty starved for details at the moment. But this has gotten my mind a little fired up in terms of game ideas that I had had in the past that I sort of decided to revisit and think, okay, alright, here's some of the more simple ideas. And I'm like, maybe I could actually make something like this in Game Builder Garage. Like, I recently discovered the stuff about the JoyCon Garage with Labo. And because I had never even heard of that until this trailer came out and people were like, oh, it looks like it's based on the Labo stuff. And I was like, So I went up and I actually looked it up because people were mentioning that, and I was like, oh wow, people actually made some elaborate stuff in that. And someone even recreated one of the shrines, one of the big shrines from Breath of the Wild in it. And, like, if that's the stuff they could have done in that, and it's very clear that they want to make this more expansive than that, and apparently, this is what I'm being told, that the Labos, the programming stuff was a little not beginner friendly. And you can see with the trailer for Game Builder Garage that they're very much trying to make even the programming stuff very user friendly. Like, I've taken a programming course before, so I already know a lot of the stuff that's like basics. I was never good at it, mind you. I'm not exactly a programmer. I admit I suck at programming. Anything beyond Hello World was a bit much for me. But seeing the way that they're trying to design the programming with Game Builder Garage, being very sort of simplified with a UI that, okay, you can connect these things and these things do that. And then, of course, having all of the, the tutorials that they're going to put in it. Because I hear, from what I've seen, it looks like they're going to have some extensive tutorials and explaining how to use this stuff. So that actually might be a way that even I could use some programming stuff with this, because I've always wanted to make games. Growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, I, like a lot of other kids, wanted to make games. But when I actually tried to get into it, the biggest hurdle that I ran into was programming. I can come up with all sorts of game design ideas and stories and all of that stuff, but when it comes to the actual, the base level of making the games, I couldn't do it. That was always my biggest hurdle. This seems to be giving away to, much in the same way you have stuff like RPG Maker. and some other stuff. I don't know. There are other game, other programs and stuff that you make games, but you have stuff like that that is there to make things a little bit easier for people who may not have all the skills to make it from scratch. So this seems to be something that's even more, user friendly, because it's Nintendo and they do want to make it more user friendly. And a lot of stuff I've heard of people who did the stuff with Labo and the games, the programming stuff, they talk about how from what they're showing with Game Builder Garage, it looks to be a lot more user-friendly and a lot easier to understand for people who don't already know stuff. Because I was looking up even some people who do know about programming. They've actually been sort of analyzing what we know, and they start talking about, oh, well, this represents these types of coding and these not statements, stuff like that. All the detail stuff, some of that goes a little bit over my head. But, But, it seems to be very much built with that sort of ease of making stuff. Now, there's a lot of stuff I really would hope for when it comes to this game. Like, I would hope that we have some kind of modeler. Like, some kind of 3D modeler. I wouldn't expect this to be ultra detailed, but something that lets us create recognizable shapes and create stuff. That way it, that we can add more personality and details to the game. I would hope that we have more than those little robot figures for characters. Seeing the Miitopia Miis and what people have been able to create with the new tools in the Miitopia Mii Creator. If we had something along that level, maybe not exactly the same, but something that allows for that much creativity when it comes to creating characters. Hell, even if it's just me styled, being able to create characters and place them in the games would be such a big deal. You can do all sorts of other stuff that we know, but if we can create a character and we can actually you can actually tell some stories if we're able to create characters in the game. And this would be so much easier than just having different colored robot people that all look the same. I would hope that that's just sort of the default and that we would have extra stuff. But we're going to have to wait for more information. I would certainly like to have some kind of basic animation. So obviously, I doubt we're going to be able to create fully realized, animated cutscenes. That would be cool. I would like that. That would be amazing to see what people can create, because I'm not going to be that elaborate with animation. But I would hope that we would have some ability to create some basic animations, especially when it comes to character models and how they move, in order to add a little bit of stuff, especially because they showed like fighting games. Like they showed the basic setup for a fighting game. If we can do like 3D models fighting, and you can create something that looks more akin to Street Fighter, or maybe even Tekken style with the 3D fighting. If we can create custom animations for just characters and how they move and stuff, and then sort of map out how they fight, we could have people creating full-on fighting games. That would be so cool. And while I don't know what we're going to be able to do, we do know that you can have background music and sound effects and stuff. Now, I wouldn't totally expect them to just be able to, say, download any kind of music or set up any kind of custom music for, the game. That would be great, and that would be wonderful. Don't know about that. But maybe if they give us a Mario Paint style music thing, and maybe we can make some basic music. A lot of people can do a lot of cool stuff with that. Maybe we can create some custom music. That would be great. Don't know how that is. Ideally, it would be great if you could import music to the game and have music play. Though then that might run into some copyright issues. Who knows? That might get complicated. But if we could at least create custom music for it, that would be ideal. Don't know, and I'm still waiting on a lot of information. I have a feeling like they'll tell us more in the weeks leading up to it releasing, because it's only about a month away, which is crazy. It's just like, hey, we're just making this, it's going to come out in a month. Alright, thanks. Well, okay. But from what we've gathered, and there are a lot of people who have been like combing over the trailer and all of the information that has been presented on the websites and trying to pick apart little details. But regardless, even with just the information we know, without, speculation, this looks like it's going to be something really fun. And I, for one, cannot wait. Because I really want to buy this, and I want to play around in it. I want to have some fun with making some games. Because I already have some ideas that I've been writing down for what I could possibly do in Game Builder Garage. And that is going to be fun to experiment with and play around with.
Okay, so this came up in the midst of editing, so I'm adding this in after the fact and sort of squeezing it in here at the end. I heard about this from a YouTuber named The Mike Will Experiment, and it looks like there's going to be a website that is designed to act as a hub for Game Builder Garage called mygarage.games. It's made by a developer named Laura, who's aiming to make it easier for people to share their games, get feedback, and search for games. And you can search for games like by genre and stuff, and it looks really cool, and I'm actually really excited about this because, of course, you can share the games, but it doesn't look like Nintendo is going to put in a built-in like search function where you can just find games to play. So of course people took it into their own hands. This is going to be very helpful for the Game Builder Garage community in order to build up and get new people in and make it easier to find games instead of just having to scour through YouTube or Twitter or other social medias just to find any various games that might strike their fancy. It looks like it's going to be extremely handy, where you can just make a profile, you can put your games up, you can get feedback, and you can show off games. Each game will have their own page that you can check it out, look at screenshots and trailers. It looks really cool, and I am really excited for this to launch when the game comes out, because I'm definitely going to be trying this out. They've got a Discord you can check out, and they're going to post updates. You can talk about it, ask questions. So I'm going to post a link to that Discord down below. You can go and check that out. I'm also going to post a link to the actual website that you can check out. So far, it's just got descriptions of what the website is going to be, because it's not launching until the game launches. But I'm really excited about this, and I cannot wait. So back to the main video.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've got my own ideas of what I want to make. And I might wait to talk about that, and I might even make a video of this if I get it and I get some of this stuff working. I might make videos on some of these game ideas that I've made later on once I have the game. So I want to know from y'all, what are your ideas? Are there any game ideas that you want to make, or maybe stuff you want to play around with, experiment with? Please comment below. And thank you for watching.